guys, welcome back to the farm. Welcome in. Hey, in the 7720 with the disc bind. Finishing up on the last field of second cutting, prime alfalfa. Once I get the drone up, you'll see field behind the farm and across the road to the north. Started there. We're gonna end here. I cut this field in half. It's a 40-acre piece. We're gonna do 20 at a time because we don't want these windrows to get too dry. Cutting today, chopping tomorrow. To take the whole field down, it might be a little too much. By the time we got to the end of it, it'd be too dry, and we want this stuff, you know, we want it green. The 90, 100 degree weather has subsided. Now we're at 80 degrees. Man, we were cutting them last fields at 6 in the morning, chopping the next day at 8 in the morning. Very hot, heat index of 110. It seemed to die down some. Happy about that. I've got my globe on the tractor for the auto steer. They said in the past, really the only way to cut hay. I'll explain to you more about it today. We cut these fields every 30 days. We usually get 4 cuttings, sometimes 5. End of the winter, I'll downshift, pick up on the fly, and start to swing my disc bind. I've been using this my John Deere Op Center to track on how many days these fields have been cut. I'm at day 30 exactly down here, which is always a plus. You can track your yields that way. You don't want your hay to start blossoming and get too old. You want to try to get that window where you can cut it right at the 30-day mark. Did well on them first 2 fields. It was so hot. We knew we were going to get it. We just had to face the heat to get it done. And luckily we did. When my brother was on vacation, my dad stepped in. He was running this. He was cutting the hay while we were finishing up milking, running the auto steer. He cut them fields of hay faster than I think we've ever cut them. That's what he said when he got out of it. I think that the one field was 30 acres. He cut it in a little over 2 hours. 2 hours. No skips, no gaps. And that's when the efficiency comes into play, because there's no overlap, less time, less fuel. And for the heat reason, this equipment wasn't out in that 100-degree weather any longer than it had to be. I got my seat belts on. I got used to wearing the seat belt last year, and I don't know what it is, but it's just comfortable. You know, you're not going to go flying out of your seat. Yeah, this second cutting came on phenomenal. Beautiful rains up here in Michigan. Very lucky, blessed. This morning we started out sending some cattle, a cow, they couldn't get bred, and a few calves up to the Marlette Express. My dad took them up there for us while I was checking over equipment, getting ready to get out in the field. And my 2 brothers are moving big round bales out of the fields right now as we speak. So we're doing a little divide and conquer. I just texted the super trucker and I said, hey, we're on tomorrow, chopping this. I'm cutting right now. He texted back, said, we got a beautiful breeze, brother. It's gonna be a good time. But yeah, here's my line. I've got my field set in on this, and so yeah, I'll have my phone on the Op Center. Another 30 days from now, we'll be doing third cutting. Another nice advantage of using your John Deere Op Center, I showed you on how we don't have to get as many bushels of wheat or soybeans when we're using our no-till drill. I look back and I've told you that in past videos, but for hay in particular, you write down when you seed the hay fields. This field, believe it or not, it's the 5th year. Tile ground, exceptional ground, no doubt about it. But 5th year, when we thought about rolling this up, I've got this tracked when we planted it, and like I said, every 30 days you cut it, but there's no sense in ripping this up, at least not this year. It's just too good, which is a good problem to have. You don't have to rotate your fields as much, but you put in the Op Center when you plant it, and that way you can track exactly how many years of hay it is and how many cuttings per year you're getting off of it. I'm running this tractor C3, 7.7 mile per hour, about 2,000 RPMs, which seems to be where she likes it. It's a good, comfortable speed, not too bouncy. And the wife packed us a leftover hamburger. Funny story about these hamburgers here in a second. Lift up. Swinging it. Yeah, over 4th of July weekend we did some grilling. My wife does all the cooking. All the grilling. Everything. Let me lay this down. Get my button. We're set. All I have to do is light the grill for and get it up to temp. And so I'm lighting it. Well, the thermostat on the grill is not working. Unbeknownst to me, I'm heating this thing up, and I thought it was taking forever to heat that grill up. Like, not up to 400 yet? No. Sometimes I'll get it to 400 and I'll back down the dials. So it's at like 3, and I'm like, hit that. She kept hitting, you know, maybe the thermostat was stuck. Then finally made it to about 400. Well, it was probably about 550 because the gauge wasn't working. She puts the burgers on. If you look, that bun and everything, she puts the buns on last and kind of toasts them. Started eating the burgers. Said, I've never seen it this hot. We burn everything. And I said, honey, that was how I used to eat. My mom used to grill like that. You know, she didn't grill medium well. It was just well done. It's just how we kind of grew up. Didn't know any better. Great way to grow up. Eating that burger made me remember my youth. So yeah, I don't know. Our grill, the gauge on there, well, I don't know. I'll have to try it again. I haven't tried it since. Well, we had everything on there was well done. Even the kids were like, that's kind of hard. Anyway, back to the op center. Everything on your phone is where it goes, you know, on that app. It goes back multiple years. It's just a nice place to put all your information you can analyze, go back. We're talking hay fields, soybeans, cornfields, monitor yields, what fields you have. This has been hay for 5 years. We've got soybeans in front of us. We've got corn off to the left. Tracking yield by yield, how each crop does each year. I just really started using that op center a lot more this year because the data's that's right there for you. I mean, beyond the auto steer, what I'm using right now, that's just a bonus. What you got in here across all your fields, all the yield, all the date, the rainfall, just everything. This is just a bonus. This is just being comfortable, you know. Globe I'm running is a John Deere Starfire 7000. This is the new G5 universal display. A nice stick spot here. Yeah, this 7720 didn't come equipped to plug in. I mean, there was a harness built in the roof. But we're talking this tractor is 20 years old. So I had to put the steering wheel on. That was what it was. And the harness was already built in the cab. Now, if you got newer tractors, it might just plug in. If you've got older tractors, you'll need an ATU. And this will go on a different make tractor too. So if you guys want to try this out and you got a case, well, don't worry. Making short work of it, probably about half. And the last thing I want to say about this auto steer and op center is it really will avoid you getting tired as quick. My dad was cutting them fields. He started cutting them at 6 a.m. It rained a little bit last night, so I couldn't get out here. It was too damp, but 6 a.m. it was 100 dang degrees. He was done by about 8. Came back, we started getting ready to chop what he cut the day before. You know, he's no spring chicken. But when you're not physically steering the tractor, I can't stress that enough. Your mind's not as tired, if that makes any sense. That's something that not a lot of people talk about. The mental side of farming. anytime you can reduce mental stress, that's long term, that's longevity right there. Because a lot of times the physical, yeah, you got to stay in shape, we know that. But most of the time, people crack under pressure, day in and day out. For instance, I'm cutting this hay for tomorrow. You couldn't be any more relaxing. I'm not just saying that. It's a way to get in here, blow off some steam. You're not even having to steer the equipment. But really pay attention. If something's not right, you know, if a knife could be missing or broke, you see a strand of hay, you just catch things a lot quicker. It's very important when you're planting, but even cutting hay. Leave a comment down below if you guys use Deere Op Center, auto steer when you're cutting hay. I don't know a lot of guys doing it here in Michigan. I don't talk to a lot of guys though, so that's part of it. But I know in this area, I don't see a lot of guys doing it. You can see with that drone being up, those two fields that were lighter green, one looks about brown. Those are the two fields we just chopped. And that farm that you saw with the barn, the silo, that's the dry cow lot. We were just there feeding the TMR. My brother lives across the street. But back in this corner, where you seen some of the field look like it was dying out, well, it gets real low right there. That's that drain that the county dug for us. It was full of muck, full of dirt, mostly muck. Dips right down in that corner, it's pure black Michigan muck, soot. And finally dug it out, and you know, now it's not flooding. That whole corner flooded right there. That's what killed the alfalfa off, but I don't think it's gonna flood anymore now that the ditch is dug, the drain's dug, and we're gonna keep an eye on it ourselves, being that we got an excavator. We let it get out of hand, we're paying close enough attention, but you got a machine, sometimes you gotta dig your own ditches. Next time I see you guys, I'll be out by the ag bagger, putting this stuff in the bag. Well, we made short work of this. There's the other side. Very thick on this end. Beautiful, beautiful ground. Thanks for coming along for a bit of a prime second cutting of hay using John Deere's Precision Essentials kit and talking to you about the Op Center. Hey, stay healthy, my friends. See you in the next one. God bless.